it's me, Nina. I took a while doing some random things before deciding to start filming this video. I wanted to create a response video to the BuzzFeed video, I stopped believing in God after pastoring a megachurch. So Lisa Gungor, she posted this video along with BuzzFeed, and I was hesitant to click on it because, I mean, what are you gonna see when you're clicking on something like that? But I did, and at first I didn't recognize who she was or who her husband was, but they are the people who wrote the song Beautiful Things, among many other songs I love. I love that song, it's one of my favorite songs, and I feel like it just encompasses so much of what I love about being a follower of Christ. And I watched it on my own and didn't really think much of it, and then I mentioned it to some people in my church, and we started having a discussion about it, and that's kind of what made me feel like it might be fun to talk to you guys about my response to this video. To be honest with you, when I watched it, I feel like you kind of need to watch it or be aware of what happened in it to kind of get my response. But essentially she and her husband were very young, and they started working for a church, and they started having doubts. They left that church, they pastored a small church on their own. Then one day Lisa Gungor's husband just said, "I don't believe in God." I have heard that since then he's come back and he has a very different strain of faith. And they have a podcast called The Liturgist. They talk about on that podcast is basically the idea that no one can tell you you're a Christian or a Christian should act a certain way, and I feel like you just go into a lot of gray area with that. But part of the reason why I'm so hesitant about watching this is because I've struggled with doubt. I've struggled with not even believing in God in the past, and I think you have to be so careful about the things that you listen to and the things that you allow inside of your mind. And and I apologize, by the way, the sun is setting, but it sounded it kind of sounded familiar to me, to my own experience, you know. They didn't seem to have much of a personal walk with God, and Lisa Gungor admits it. A lot of her relationship with God was, God, I do this for God, very transactional, so God gives me this, God gives me good things. And that's a temptation I fall into as well, thinking that I follow God and God will give me good things. And yes, I believe that God is good, God will provide, but the challenge is also to follow God even when circumstances are not looking their best, or even if things are not working out, as evidenced by the story of Job in the Bible. And Job is a story of a righteous man who was given a lot, and how even when that was taken away, he never relented in following and trusting in God, even though he did grieve, of course, the loss of many things in his life. Their story, it just sounded like they had the experience of religion without religion. And I think that's a really dangerous thing that can happen to a lot of people. And even for myself, I think when I originally was struggling, I didn't know who God was. And now at 25, I think I'm still beginning to just understand who exactly God is. And I'm just touching the cusp of it, you know? I didn't spend time alone with God in prayer. I went to church and I didn't have positive relationships with the people in my church at the time, or any strong relationships. And so in that sense, I was isolated, and I didn't enjoy worship. I didn't enjoy spending time with God. I didn't enjoy being in that atmosphere. Obviously, over time, when you begin to experience God, when you choose to spend time in worship, when you choose to read the Bible and see ways that God just provides for you and watches out for you and loves you, or even how He is good even when situations feel very tough, and how He gives you that strength, or you just feel a solace in knowing that you can follow God. There are so many reasons why God is good, you know, and I think it's really great that Lisa Gungor and her husband, I should know his name, I listened to his podcast, their video was still a little bit clickbaity, you know, I don't blame BuzzFeed, I guess you wanted views, you know, but they still do follow God to some extent. But yeah, I guess my biggest takeaway from watching that video is be careful that you're following God and that you're not following religion, because coming from the Indian Christian community, which for many people watching this video, you probably don't know what that is, or if you are from a similar demographic, you know what that is, and maybe you know what I'm talking about, but it can be very easy to be a part of all these different events, to meet a lot of people with similar interests, and to have no relationship with God. I was Urbana 2015, and I literally felt so convicted because I was going to say Chris Pratt, and it's not Chris Pratt. Gardens of the Galaxy. Chris Pratt should not even be known for Gardens of the Galaxy. He is from Parks and Recreation, as far as I'm concerned, but love that man. Not Chris Pratt. Who was it? David Platt. Their names sound similar, right? Okay, well, David Platt. He gave a message that literally shook me to my core, and I can find. I will link it down below. But he talked about this love that he has for his wife, and just kind of walks you through it and whatever. And one thing that he says is that a lot of times there are people, especially at a conference like Urbana, which is a big missions conference, people are trying to manufacture a heart for missions while not having a heart for God. And when I see Lisa's testimony, I'm actually for friends, Gungor's, it's not an academic video. Okay, Lisa Gungor's. When I see her testimony, it just felt like she had a heart for music, she had a heart for performing and community, but she didn't have a relationship with God. And I don't mean to pass any judgment, this is just my observations, and I could be completely wrong. So I just want to throw that out there. But the biggest cautionary tale I could say is, yes, community is great. Yes, fellowship is great, and spending time with people and going to conferences and being around people. I think those are great ways to build your walk with God and to build a sense of community. But they cannot replace your own individual time with God and your own walk with God and your own time with God. And no, you will not experience God if that's the only time that you hear from Him. If you're never spending time alone, if you're never spending time in your daily life just talking with Him randomly. And that's something that I personally am growing in myself. I was gonna say I hope you guys enjoyed, but I don't, it's not for enjoyment. I don't know. I hope this made you think, and let me know. I'm just looking at the viewfinder now, and the lighting's awful, sorry guys. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Something I was thinking was I just want to have, for a long time I felt very sensitive about my walk with God, so I didn't want to talk to a lot of people who were struggling with their faith because I felt like I need to build myself up. But I've engaged in it more, and it's something that I enjoy and something that I like to do. So even comment down below what are ways that we can engage with people with different faiths and backgrounds better and share what we believe and in a way that glorifies God, Let me know. Part of me was thinking of doing an apologetics cafe and creating some kind of environment where there could be questions and we meet together and we invite people from the community and talk about God. I don't know, that's just something I'm thinking of. Let me know if you are at a different church and you've done something that was a really great way of reaching out to people from your neighborhood who have different beliefs than you, or if you just have an idea that might be good or suggestions to build on my own, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I will see you guys next week, and let me know what you think of this video and Lisa's video in the comments down below. Bye. Also, if you don't already, follow on Instagram, instagram.com/brownlightcurry, or follow and my Twitter account. You can follow as well. I'm doing a photo shoot with my friends, the Malari Production. I don't even know if they're their name right, but they have been kicking butt with their photography company, and I'm going to be taking some Desi Fusion outfits with, okay. I'm going to be taking some Desi Fusion outfits and also traditional Desi outfits, so yeah, if you want to see some of those photos, I'm going to probably slowly release them, but I'll be taking some tomorrow. So watch out. Instagram.com/brownlightcurry. That's it. Bye. Beautiful Things goes you make me new, you are making me new, making me new, you make beautiful You make beautiful things out of dust, and so on. But I